And we are now very happy to open the part of our event dedicated to international collaboration. You know that over the years it has become a really central part of the SPI activities to open opportunities with organizations in other continents. And today we are very pleased to welcome two speakers from far away who are joining on Zoom. And it is Hiroyuki Enomoto from NIPR in Japan. Thank you for staying awake for us. And Jean-Éric Tremblay on the other end of the temporal spectrum, very early in the morning in Quebec. Thank you, Jean-Éric. So I would like to first give the floor to Hiroyuki for his presentation, which will be about the opportunities to collaborate in the Arctic and Antarctic with an IPR. Hiroyuki has a special relationship with Switzerland. He did his PhD at ETH Zurich. Okay. And he is the Vice Director General of NIPR. He's a professor of Arctic Environment, at the Arctic Environment Research Center at NIPR and at the Graduate University for Advanced Studies as well. So his field of interest is physical geography of sea ice and climate relationships. But now he will talk to us as Vice Director General of NIPR about collaboration possibilities. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Danielle. The audience, my friends, and special guest, can you hear me?
So very well.
Yeah, I would like to use this very great opportunity to introduce our possible collaboration with NIPR and Swiss colleagues, and about the Arctic and Antarctic. So thank you very much for introducing me. My name is Hiroyuki Enomoto. And briefly, I introduce what is NIPR. National Institute of Polar Research is founded 29 September 1973. So in 2 weeks, we have the 50 years celebration. And the mandate is comprehensive research and observation in the polar region. And this institute is a special institute as inter-university, so-called inter-university research institute in Japan under MEXT. So inter-university research institute is a hub of the universities. And to the Arctic or Antarctic expedition, we invite many scientists from those universities and dispatch the scientists to the polar region. So we have also 90 professors and 250 employees. But outside of our institute, we have many collaborators in Japan. And we have also graduate university advanced studies. Not so many students, but they are very much specialized to polar science. And they had the opportunity, to go polar regions during their graduate university course. And our institute, NIPR, has a different subject, space and upper atmosphere, meteorology and glaciology. And so I'm, as a subject, I'm in this glaciology group. And geoscience, including the meteorite research or space research work, and bioscience. This is coordination, organization of our institute. And we have some collaborating institute under so-called ROIS, Research Organization of Information and Systems. NIPR is gathering the information or data from the polar region, but other collaborative institute is the National Institute of Informatics and Statistics, Mathematics, and Genetics. And these four institutes make the ROIS Research Organization of Information and Systems. And we are collaborating with these institutes. And also 17th Inter-University Research Institute has also connections. And NIPR is here in Tokyo, and so we are connecting the Japanese universities researchers to coral science. So in Japan, we have 86 national universities and more many private universities, and they can visit our institute, and we are many connections with those university researchers. And from Japan to international connections, we are working with MOU, like NIPR and SPI made. The NIPR is working for connecting Japanese university researchers to the international activities. And our institute has a 50 years anniversary this month, but Antarctic expedition research work is started in more earlier, 1956. And now is phase 10. So we have 6-year project. Every 6 years we have new project. And from last year, we started the 10th phase. And this is an annual budget. And for the Antarctic project, we started since 1970s. But from 2011, we have a very strong activity in Arctic research work as a so-called flagship project, including many Japanese scientists and connecting the international activities. From 2011 to 15, Green Arctic Project, ARCS Project, Arctic Challenge for Sustainability Project from 2015 to 19. And this is an ongoing project, ARCS 2 project. I'm leading this project. And 1 billion Japanese yen, so please calculate later. So 1 Swiss franc is 164 yen now. And is our project ongoing. And in the Antarctic region, we have such infrastructure. Showa station, so already 60 years we used at Antarctica, and accommodate 100 people in summer and 30 in winter. So we are sending every winter season this wintering party. And approximately 60 buildings and in Showa stations. Here is a view of the Showa station. And 1,000 kilometers inland from Showa, there is a Dome Fuji station. It's designed for the deep ice quarrying project. And seasonally, we are operating. And this year, we start the old ice project in this Dome Fuji station. And here is the icebreaker Shirase, 8 expeditioners and 1,000 tons transport. And this is also science platform in the sea ice. From coast to Dome Fuji station, 1,000 kilometers it takes 1 month for traveling. It is a very long travel, but for the scientists on ice sheet surface, they can use that distance and also duration for surface snow conditions research or geographical variation of the snow properties on this side. Mizuho station is now closed, but we used for the snow drifting observation. And sometimes we are still using this area for the snow drifting studies. And in the Arctic, so Arctic region is the territory of the 8 countries. So from 1991, we start using the Ni-Olson station in Svalbard. And recently, we expanded the accessibility for many other areas with the collaboration of each country's polar researchers. And the research vessel is operated by JAMSTEC, Japanese Maritime Research Institute, and also satellite data is served for the polar scientist. And so that data is coming from JAXA. And our institute or our project is operating the Arctic data archive system. So including the field data and satellite data and also ocean data. And also the numerical modeling data is also in this ADS. This is the so hub of the information, and also different people's connections is done by using this through this ADS system. And connecting the to the international activities, so 25 countries and 55 institutions. The number of countries and number of institutions has been increased in last 10 years because we accelerated the Arctic research work, and then we now have more collaborators. And here is a Swiss Polar Institute, and so we have now one more collaborator in Europe. And so there's some connection with Switzerland. So we have NIPR has an advisor of the institute or many polar research work, but the Atsumu Omura Professor Emeritus is very much contributing our direction or designing polar research. And I'm here. And as my colleague Kenji Kawamura, he is an ice core researcher, and he stayed in University of Bern in previous years. And Abe Ouchi Ayako, she is ice sheet modeling and very active and working with the ice core analysis and ice modeling together, and also meteorological observations all together. And from here, I have some images on the our polar research work. This is a shedding light on climate change over the past million years. Here you can see the drilling site of the Dome Fuji. We are trying to get the oldest ice here to the 1 million year, but at the same time, we some geoscience team and also surface meteorology or glaciology team, and also oceanic research team, oceanographers are working together, and we trying to combine those information, not only the ice core, but also the sediment or rock informations. And one of the focus target of the 10th JARE 6-year program is the condition of the basal melting of the ice sheet or ice shelves. So using this icebreaker or drilling from on the floating ice, we are trying to get the information under so floating ice shelves or ice sheet. And this is the operation image of the operation of the underwater vehicle AUB, and hot water drilling is used here to get the to monitor the condition below floating ice. This is a big target, and in the coming 6 years, the one concentration will be done in the ice sheet, and other is this ocean and ice sheet connections. And here the upper atmosphere research groups activity. So aurora and upper atmosphere conditions were monitored using the more than 1,000 antennas on the snow field. They are looking at the very high atmospheric conditions. And so balloon observation is here. And Arctic research work is a connection of the natural science to the social science, human science, and legal policy, so international law, all together in 11 research programs. More than 300 researchers are joining from Japanese, from many universities to these 4 strategic goals. And the priority subject, 2 priority subject is capacity building and dissemination of the Arctic information. So we are trying to expand the scientific influence to the society or next generations. And for the international exchange program, so as an international program, please use this possibility to come or work with NIPR. NIPR International Internship Program for polar science. So it's a very short to middle term, and 3 months is visiting professors. There is such a system. And the Japan Society of Promotion of Science, JSPS program, is up to 2 years postdoc fellow, and short-term visitor and long-term visitor. There is such application is possible. Please consult us. And sorry, this is today's deadline, but we have NIPR has every year a polar symposium on polar science, and so please once visit the symposium site. It will be held in middle of November. And last week we got very good information from my colleague Yutaka Tobo. Is atmospheric researcher, and he got the new fund from the JSPS to work jointly work with the Greenfield project. So he will now designing the activity plans for the coming months. And so thank you very much. Please consult us if you have interest to working with us. Thank you very much.
So it's a pleasure to take my morning coffee with you today. And I'd like to introduce the Memorandum of Understanding that we recently signed with the Swiss Polar Institute. And as you can tell from the picture, we were very happy to sign this in Montreal last spring. So it's a new collaboration, and it's really aimed at better understanding together Arctic and high altitude systems and their changes. So I'm going to cover the very broad implications of the agreement and spend some time talking about what INQ also can bring to this. So the 4 main items there are really to maintain a regular exchange at a strategic level between our institutions so that we can build on each other's forces, and to aim at developing also joint initiatives and new collaborative projects. And I'll talk about some opportunities for this a bit later. Exchange of expertise and personnel, both for researchers, established researchers, and students. And access to facilities, both at your building in Sion and also in Quebec City, but the province of Quebec and Canada's north more generally, where there's quite a few research infrastructures that are made available. So in the next slides, I'll talk about briefly what INQ is, the accessible research facilities, and some thematic areas that for which we can envision collaborations. And I'll say a few words about the process itself. So INQ was funded in 2014. So its main mandate is to produce knowledge to better understand the Arctic and how it's changing, but with a special focus on supporting sustainable development. As you know, people are living in the north of Quebec and Canada, and it's also a region where a lot of social economic activities are growing. So the main idea was bringing together the first peoples of the North who are founding members of INQ, together with a research community from universities and government. So today we have about 2,070 researchers in all fields of science, and the Institute brings together many research chairs and affiliated institutes. At this time, all the institutions of higher education that do research in the North or in the Arctic in Quebec are part of INQ. So INQ does many things. Here's are some of the objectives. So as you'll see a bit later, the main one is really to promote multidisciplinary and intersectoral research, but we'll also be in a position soon to provide enhanced administrative, technical, and logistical support to go to the North. We are created adapted tools for Northern research and guidelines for research there, especially research that involves the communities in the North. We're also in the process of developing large analytical facilities that will be able to analyze pretty much every kind of samples that we can think of coming from the North. Training opportunities, but in the context of this presentation, especially develop international collaboration and outreach. As you know, a lot of the challenges that we have in the North are circumpolar in nature. It's the same for high altitude research, which has a lot of global implications. So briefly, the Institute is funded by the Ministry of Natural Resources in Quebec, with funding from research from the research funds of Quebec. The Institute is geographically distributed, but it will have a main facility in Quebec City that I'll describe here. So we're planning for the building to come up from the ground later this month. So construction will be starting. One of the aims of the building is to provide synergy by long existing research initiatives in Canada and Quebec. You probably have heard about ArcticNet, the network research of centers of excellence. But also we had a lot of networks that have been ongoing since the 1960s. In Quebec, and so they will all be together in the building, bringing their expertise in different walks of science, terrestrial and marine sciences, but social sciences and health sciences as well. And the building will be the host of the newly instituted Permanent Secretariat of the Sustainable Development Working Group of the Arctic Council. And so, as I said earlier, the building will include a lot of thematic laboratories, but it will and strategically serve as a base of operations for a lot of the research that is being done in the North, both marine and terrestrial. And in doing so, it will support research stations and ships that are being used in the North. And to do so, there will be shops for developing new instruments, maintaining the instruments, and calibrating them, and so on. And especially in the context of this agreement, there will be office space for visiting scientists, either for short visits or longer visits. So as part of the Institute, there are a lot of means available to do research. What you're seeing here is the station network from the Centre d'études Nordiques. So there are especially 9 stations which will be operated from INQ. So those are the ones that are numbered in black. And a lot of the research that is being done there is articulated with this idea of a north to south gradient that covers a large latitudinal span. And is an ideal laboratory for investigating the impacts of climate change with respect to latitude. We're also building new stations, and a first marine station, which will be in Kikik-Tarjoak. So that station will have direct access on Baffin Bay, which is the main highway for Arctic waters coming down from the north and impacting the North Atlantic. And this is a picture that I just got yesterday. So the station building has just started, and it should be opening next year. We hope to support research in this sector, and it will be an ideal place also to look at land-ocean interactions with glaciers, but on the Canadian side of Baffin Bay. The station will be supported by the CCGS Amundsen, which is the main icebreaker that we are using to perform research in the north. The Amundsen also will be supporting oceanographic research in years to come. It has done so for quite a long time already. So the Amundsen will be accessible also. And one important thing to note is that it's not just the ship, it's all the instrumentation, the oceanographic instrumentation that becomes available at no additional cost for users of the Amundsen. So this is quite a versatile platform. And what you see at the bottom of the screen is the footprint of where the Amundsen has been for the past 10 years or even 20 years or so. And in years to come, the Amundsen will invest a significant portion of its time in Baffin Bay to support research in the ocean, but also land-ocean interactions, both on the Greenland side and the Canadian side. And one of the reasons for this is this new program that has just been funded by the Canada Research Excellence Fund. It's called Transforming Climate Action. It's going to go on for the next 7 years at the tune of 150 million Canadian dollars. And it's really focused on the North Atlantic. And so we're in the process of setting this up. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for collaborations there that I hope will foster some interesting discussions after this presentation. So this big program is aimed at reducing uncertainty in how the North Atlantic Ocean is impacting climate, especially through oceanic carbon pumps, but also recognizing that there's a lot of fresh water that is being put in the system in that region, and that connects to glaciers in Greenland and Canada. And two other aspects of that will be to look into ways of mitigating change with ocean technologies and to propose equitable adaptation measures. But on the reducing uncertainty side, there will be a lot of expeditions that will happen the next few years aimed at understanding the connectivity in that system, how freshwater works, how the system is working and warming, nutrients. And as you know, the Labrador Sea is a key global areas for deep convection and the global conveyor belt of ocean circulation. So there will be expeditions looking into this and how this basically impact the ocean's carbon pumps. So I'm not going to describe the expeditions, but they're all possible means of collaborations in the years to come. So this program is operated as a consortium between 4 universities on the east coast of Canada. It's led by Dalhousie, but Université Laval is mostly responsible for research in the North and the Arctic. So what we can do in terms of collaboration, it's much broader than that. That was just a concrete example of what we can do. But on the right here, you see basically how the INQ is structured in terms of scientific teams. So it's covering everything from social sciences, societies and cultures, to health and well-being, ecosystems, natural resources and infrastructures and technologies. And the main goal here is to bring those research areas together to address the many facets of several challenges and opportunities that we have in the North. And what you have on the left are just a suggestion. It can be much broader than that. Obviously, we want this to be inclusive, but there's really based on the expertise that we have here and some of the expertise that you have also in Switzerland. To basically engage in collaborative research on all these thematic areas, which I'm not going to read, but I suppose this presentation will be made available to you later on. Just concluding on the process very briefly. So there are 2 main aspects, the research stations and the Amundsen. So the best way, obviously, to initiate this is to discuss collaborations with partners on both sides of the Atlantic. So we may be proposing some of those collaborations, and you might as well, based on the people you already know. But if you don't, but you would like to initiate a collaboration, you can do so by contacting our respective management, and part of what we want to do with this agreement is help you identify counterparts and means to do so if you don't already have those ideas. For the Amundsen, the applications have to go in late September every year, and that has to be a consolidated application submitted by Canadian PIs for collaborative programs. So it's the idea is to have those discussions before then. And there's a possibility also if Switzerland wants to initiate a larger program on their side to be the leaders also of this. So there are many ways to organize that. For the research stations, it's a little bit different. There are no necessarily timelines every year to apply, but it's a good idea to get this ready for the fall. So same process. You can talk to colleagues or ask if you want to be put in contact with people. So this year we've put the deadline a little bit further or later, since it was the first year of the agreement and wanted to give more time. But it's possible that we may move this a little bit forward in the future. And in both cases, it is expected that we would have a declaration of interest or intent for this collaboration so that we know what's coming and we can help with the process. So there are much more details about this that you can find on our respective websites after the meeting. So one thing that will come a little bit later is basically the opportunities that are provided by the complex, which we expect to be operational by early 2026. So that would be provide occasions for basically it would be a forward base for operating in the north, so that scientists can either receive equipment there, have samples analyzed, store samples, and so on. So it would greatly facilitate access to northern Quebec and Canada, access to the analytical facilities in case some of the samples, there's a desire to analyze some of the sample on site instead of bringing them back home. It will greatly facilitate all the permits that are needed now to conduct research in the north, and of course access to office space and your collaborators in Quebec. So I think I'll stop there. Thank you.